All right, today what I'm going to do is do one of my favorite paintings that I used to have hanging in my living room, not the actual painting, but I'm going to do a little study of it, and it is called, I think it's called Repose, and it's by John White Alexander, and it's at the Met, and every time I go there, it's definitely like just one of those paintings that I stop and take in, and John White Alexander actually has a painting up at the museum in MFA in Boston as well, but it really just is not overly worked and just a beautiful little composition I'm going to take and study here. So I'm not going to put in a ton of detail, and I suggest you don't as well, but just going to draw it a little bit in the charcoal. This Vine's charcoal, and then I'm going to go in, just begin to kind of block it and paint. And it's just such a wonderful composition. Take this down. I think it actually moves all this over a little bit. Again, it's not perfect. I've never looked for, I try to get great drawings, but for a study like this, there's a little bit more leeway to, be more open about it. All right, let me see if I can get some more color on here too, and I almost feel like so fascinating because when you kind of start to look and you warm yourself up to it, you realize that some of those things that you might think are red, I'm going to put this as Venetian red up there. It looks like it's a muddled red, almost like a grayed down red. Maybe let's start with the white. Get that in first. Also using just a big brush. It's also a nice opportunity if you ever want to take and explore mediums. All right, let's just get this in. Put out some more titanium white. Hefty amount out. So this is just something I used to look at all the time. All right, let's take this, get the white out. And I just taken, looks like a very low chroma. Somewhere in the black family, like neutralish, maybe leaning a little. Yeah, so this is just a wonderful opportunity if you ever want to begin to explore mediums. If you're not sure what they do, I just think this is a great place to just kind of play, A little burn umber out. I always love Michael Harding's burn umber. I think is the best. One of my favorites for sure. There seems to be a bit of a blue in here too, so he's got maybe just a touch. I don't know. Now the surface is pulling, so I'm going to add just a touch of mineral spirits. And what that does is it allows the paint to drag a little bit, and as I get this first layer down, it's going to allow me to kind of get the relationships of the colors. Just a wonderful way to kind of add paint down, feel like you're not committing too much, and then when needed, you can really get in there and commit. All right. So then he's got Go in here. Go. It's a nice big painting too when you see it. I do believe he's using ivory black. Down here. Nice and dark. Alright, let's get some of the red in there. Totally is like a kind of big color block here. I get the Venetian red on there. I'm going to put Cad Red Medium on. And there could just be somewhere, like I'm going to start with a low chroma red. Darken it, and then add a touch of red. I need to pull it. That seems like more like the color. We do have perception problems with colors and gauging them on our palette. That's why it's important to put it in the painting and then see just how it feels together. Look at the compositional tool of taking and putting this back in the light up at the arm. Such a beautiful painting. All right. It's like it has to lean a little warm. It doesn't have to, but I'm making it lean a little warm by pulling the yellow ochre in and then coming back and then tapping it into the mixture. I believe he was Philadelphia PAFA, which is recently closed. Be easy to get caught up in painting that face. I'm not gonna. Alright, let's take. Ooh, graining it. Let's pull it back over. There, it feels a little better. Maybe a little towards green, but maybe that's too much. Maybe a touch of white. Yeah, I tinker with the colors on the surface to really find it. To me, that's what painting is about. It's just the fun part about it is to find it on the surface. It's not to. So I get a lot of questions about pre-mixing, and I just find it's like, I don't know, just coloring exercise. After that, if the pre-mixing is just everything's there. So what I like to do is find it, mix as I go, keeps it fun. There's a pursuit of the painting in that sense. Again, that's just my 2 cents on it, but that's way too chromatic. Like a nestled little ball of light over here on the arm, and it repeats over here. Like my brain's like, put in the details. But then it's not what this is about. Scrub it. See just so much about what the painting. Lower the chroma there. Such a great way to just practice color mixing too. Which is just, overly complicated. I think the idea that things have to be perfect is silly. It's no wonder people go to the use of devices and stuff like that, but I avoid them at all cost. I just want to be the calipers. The caliper should be in the eyes, not in the hands. And when you really train yourself, which anybody can, then you can be free to get it close, and no artist is getting, perfect paintings. I think the pursuit of that is just, I don't know. Maybe it's overly complicating things these days. That sense of things have to be perfect. Paintings do not have to be perfect. Color. It should be in pursuit of the painting. Again, that's very biased opinion of what I feel, what I go after when I'm painting. Look at that. What is the scoop? The way in which this is just kind of scooping down through the background. Pretty fascinating. All right. Kind of like one shape. We can cut it back up. ever so slightly. This is just a flat by Trekell flat brush. That's too pink. Pull it back, a little yellow. That's why I like to kind of find it on the surface. All right. I'm gonna tiny bit of mineral spirits, loosen it up. Paint wet into wet there. Reminds me of like Princess Leia or something. Got like a very wet looking painting. Almost like this approach by getting it a little slippery. The paint seems like it kind of matches the way that the paint is kind of pushed. Again, I love to kind of find it. Grab a big amount of wet paint, draw that in. There we go. Let's just connect some of this stuff just to get it connected. Look at the way he's even like haloing that right there. It's on purpose, I would imagine. You know, I think that's the thing to take away from all this too. There's an intention behind a lot of the design. It's not just mimetically copying what we see. It's to intentionally create the design and twist it so that we move the audience where we want them to. Prussian, see what happens. Ooh, too blue. Interesting. What happens when it goes in? That's interesting. Maybe there is a hint of blue in it. Ever so subtle. That's an interesting kind of play now of warm cool. Again, there's a search on the canvas for these colors, and I'm always thinking if I had just premixed a color, I wouldn't have accidentally or whatever tinkered and tried. It would have been like, oh, that's it right there. Just match the swatch to the thing or something, and it's just not. There you go. That's an interesting play of warm cool now, but it's a bit more fun. Kind of find it on the surface, the painting, be in the painting, finding it. It could also be a function just of the image, like a bad image or something. But again, there's utility in if you fall in love with whatever image that you find online, it still has utility. It may not be faithful to the original, but there's still something about it that you can use to extract. And the whole point of these is to help you to make a picture as you move forward. Big chunk of black, put it over there. That's what the studying is for the application to go do our own work. At least that's how I think about them. That's how the French were doing them. And I encourage everyone to do similarly. There's an interesting color, the blue, to really neutralize it. Deepen it. This goes down, which pushes the rest of it down just ever so slightly. I can bring this drawing as you're painting. One of the things I did with Max Ginsberg was just always drawing and fixing. It's the only way to get good at painting this way, to learn how to fix. Alright, and then this comes down. If not, you're just bound by a line. I don't know. Plenty of painters that make that work too. I used to do it. More of the indirect approach where you transfer. Alright. Kind of rounding home here. Definitely seems like there's a tiny amount of like blue in there. I was getting that the whole time. And here just like something. The way in which the form felt like a blue bias to the wet. The one at the MFA Boston is gorgeous too. We'll see. Maybe I'll do that one. I used to just stare at it. One of my favorite paintings there of a woman standing by a vase, a huge vase. Yeah, let's bring this up here. All right, let's take that and put it over here. I think call it a day. I mean, you could fiddle with it all day again. Take what you will from these. It's up to you and find what the meaning is. Obviously, I'm encouraging everyone to just do them. It's a good color, by the way. Venetian red. No, black. I mean, if you want, you can put on all that detail, but I don't think particularly need to. Let's just strengthen the silhouette. Redraw a tiny bit. Look at the lines. You see them all coming in compositionally to the center. Right there. Just pushing it in to forcing the audience. It's the beauty of studying these, besides many other reasons, but alright, I think that's about it for this one. Let me just do a little note. Cover the surface a little more.